The Mojave Desert was a canvas of tranquility under the night sky, its sands untouched by the chaos of civilization, a stark contrast to the turmoil that had gripped the cities of Earth, where political unrest had become the norm. That tranquility was abruptly shattered as a streak of fire tore across the heavens, a brilliant light that ended in a cacophony of noise and a tremor through the desert floor. A ship, its design otherworldly and sleek, had crash-landed, burying its hull in the dunes and throwing up clouds of dust that glowed in the moonlight. As the news rippled across the globe, every eye turned to the once quiet desert, now swarming with activity. Helicopters dotted the sky. Convoys of military vehicles cut through the dust, and every available agent of the government was mobilized. It was a scene of controlled pandemonium, a ballet of lights and urgent voices. The first to reach the craft were met with a hiss of pressurized air as the ship's doors opened, a silent invitation or a silent surrender. Inside, they found corridors lined with symbols that pulsed with bioluminescent light, leading to a central chamber where the occupants lay. The beings were a stark revelation of the universe's breadth, a testament to life's boundless forms. With limbs too slender for their frames and skin that shimmered with a subtle iridescence, the aliens, known as the Araun, were a portrait of both vulnerability and grace. Injured, clearly in distress, they communicated not with words but with a desperate resonance that spoke of profound need. The immediate response was human and instinctive. Paramedics, trained for trauma but not for extraterrestrial biology, rushed forward. The desert, once silent and desolate, became a stage for an unprecedented act of humanity. Earth's inhabitants reaching out to the unknown, driven by a compulsion to aid those in need. The Araun, as they would come to be known, bore the weight of harrowing tales, of conflict and survival, which would unfold in the days to come. But on that first night, as the stars bore witness, it was the shared understanding of life's fragility and the universal need for sanctuary that united two species. An unspoken bond was formed, one that transcended the vastness of the void that had separated them until fate's hand guided one to the other's doorstep. It was a night that marked the beginning of an era where humanity would not be defined by its struggles on Earth, but by its role in the cosmic ballet of existence. When the Araun needed help, only humans gave them hope, and the story of that hope was just beginning to unfold. The arrival of the Araun had become the fulcrum upon which Earth's history now tilted. Word of their plea for help echoed in the chambers of the United Nations as the world's leaders grappled with the implications. These were not conquerors from the stars, but refugees, survivors of an oppressive regime from a galaxy light-years away. Their leader, a being named Alaris, addressed the assembly through a device that translated her thoughts into hauntingly beautiful speech. She spoke of the Krell, a militant race whose thirst for dominance knew no bounds, and how the Araun had been subjugated, their freedoms stripped away in the name of order and control. The revelation struck a chord with humanity, a species all too familiar with the scourge of tyranny. As debates raged and alliances shifted, a plan began to take form. Earth would not turn its back on the Araun. It would stand as a beacon of hope in a universe that had shown them little kindness. An offer was extended. Earth would become a haven for the Araun and any others who sought refuge from the Krell's despotism. This decision sparked a technological renaissance as human ingenuity turned towards the stars. The Araun's damaged vessel became a project of international cooperation. Scientists from around the globe pored over the alien technology, their efforts leading to advancements previously confined to the realm of science fiction. Engineers and physicists worked alongside the Araun, bridging the gap between the technologies and cultures of two distinct worlds. Together, they would repair the vessel, not only to return the Araun to their homes, but to send a message. Tyranny would be challenged, no matter the cost. As the project neared completion, a team was assembled for the most daring mission humanity had ever undertaken. Led by Commander Adrian Pierce, a veteran astronaut whose valor was etched into the scars that lined his face, the team comprised the best and bravest from Earth's military and scientific communities. They would accompany the Araun back to their galaxy, not merely as escorts, but as allies in the impending struggle. The night before departure, as the ship's engines hummed with the promise of the journey ahead, Adrian gazed at the stars with his crew beside him. There was fear in the unknown, yes, but above all, there was a fiery resolve. They were not just representatives of Earth. They were guardians of hope, and they would see this mission through to the end, whatever it might bring. The mission's heart lay not in its advanced technology, nor in the sleek design of the spacecraft that stood ready, but in the people chosen to embark on this historic journey. Commander Adrian Pierce had been the first name on the roster, a decision met with unanimous agreement. His leadership was undisputed, forged in the crucibles of both Earth's conflicts and its explorations beyond the atmosphere. Joining him was Dr. Lena Morales, a brilliant biologist whose work with alien ecosystems had earned her a place among the stars. Her insights into the Arun's biology had already saved lives, and her curiosity promised to bridge worlds. Tactical expert Sergeant Marcus Reed brought a different kind of wisdom to the table. His career had been one of strategy and survival, skills crucial for navigating the unknown challenges that awaited them. Pilot Maya Jensen, with her unparalleled flying skills, was chosen to navigate the uncharted corridors of space. Her hands were steady, her mind quick, a combination that had pulled her crew from the brink more than once. Rounding out the team was Arun liaison Elan, one of the few refugees who had mastered English. His calm demeanor and deep knowledge of Krell technologies and tactics would prove invaluable. As the team gathered, the weight of their task hung over them. They were to infiltrate a galaxy under the grip of a tyrant, to inspire hope and ignite a rebellion. The mission was cloaked in secrecy, for the Krell's spies were many, and their reach extended even to the quiet corners of Earth. Training commenced, a grueling regimen that tested their physical limits and bonded them as a unit. They learned to operate the Arun ship, a marvel of engineering that responded to touch and thought, and they drilled in zero-gravity combat, preparing for the inevitable confrontations. The night before departure was one of solemn reflection. They gathered in the hangar, the Arun vessel before them, its hull gleaming under the hangar lights. Around them, the faces of those who had come to bid farewell, a silent sea of support and pride. Adrian addressed his team, his voice steady. "We go not as conquerors but as liberators. Our mission is one of peace, but we carry the might of Earth in our hearts. We fight for those who cannot, and we bring hope where there is none." As dawn broke, the team boarded the ship, their farewells spoken, their resolve unshakable. The engines roared to life, a crescendo of power that shattered the morning stillness. And as the ship ascended, leaving Earth behind, they carried with them the hopes of two worlds on the brink of change. The vessel, an emblem of unity between Earth and Arun, pierced the veil of Earth's atmosphere, leaving behind the blue marble that had been humanity's cradle for eons. As they ventured into the void, the vastness of space enveloped them, a reminder of the immensity of their mission. The crew, now astronauts in the fullest sense, adapted to their new environment with a mix of awe and determination. The journey was long, measured not in distance but in the gradual shift of stars outside their viewport. Dr. Lena Morales spent her days in the lab, studying the Arun's physiology in depth, uncovering the secrets of their resilience and adaptability. Her work, she knew, could be the key to not only understanding their new allies, but also ensuring their survival against the Krell. Sergeant Marcus Reed and Elan, the Arun liaison, mapped out potential strategies, simulating encounters with the Krell using the ship's advanced holographic systems. Their plans ranged from subterfuge to direct engagement, each scenario weighed and considered with meticulous care. Pilot Maya Jensen, meanwhile, became one with the ship, her intuition and skill blending seamlessly with its alien technology. The craft responded to her as if alive, its movements fluid and precise, a dance among the stars. Commander Adrian Pierce often found himself on the bridge gazing into the abyss. The responsibility weighed heavily on him, the lives of his crew and the fate of the Arun resting on his shoulders. Yet in the quiet moments of introspection, he found a clarity of purpose that fortified his resolve. Halfway through their journey, the tranquility was shattered. An anomaly detected on the edge of a nebula turned out to be a Krell scout ship, lying in wait. The encounter was brief but intense, a game of cat and mouse among the clouds of gas and dust. The team's training paid off, as they managed to evade capture, but the reality of their mission hit home. The Krell were not just oppressors, they were hunters, and the team was now prey in the vast wilderness of space. This encounter served as a grim reminder of the stakes. They were not merely travelers, they were warriors on a path to liberation. The mood on the ship shifted, a palpable tension that spoke of the challenges ahead. But it also steeled their resolve. For now, more than ever, they understood the importance of their mission. They were the hope of the Arun, a beacon in the darkness, and they would not falter. As the ship approached the fringes of the Arun's home system, the scars of Krell domination were evident. Planets stripped of resources, moons transformed into military outposts, and an omnipresent sense of surveillance marked the once-free galaxy. The team's arrival did not go unnoticed. Krell drones, silent sentinels of the regime, detected the alien craft and launched an immediate investigation. The encounter with the scout ship had been a warning, but the sight of the Krell's military might was a declaration of the challenge they faced. The drones were swiftly dealt with, a testament to the ship's capabilities and the crew's readiness. But the victory was small in the shadow of what awaited them. Their first major test came as they attempted to infiltrate a Krell prison moon. Intelligence from the Arun resistance had pinpointed the location as holding key political prisoners, whose release could ignite a spark of rebellion across the galaxy. The moon was a fortress, surrounded by defense systems and patrolled by Krell warships. The plan was audacious. Under the cover of cosmic dust clouds, they would approach the moon, using the ship's advanced stealth technology to evade detection. Maya's piloting skills were put to the ultimate test, navigating through the treacherous terrain of space debris and energy fields. Once in orbit, Adrian led a small team, including Marcus and Elan, in a shuttle to the surface. The prison was a monolith of despair, its dark silhouette looming against the barren landscape. Inside, they encountered a society of captives, broken, but not without hope. The sight of humans standing alongside an Arun, fighting for their freedom, rekindled a fire long thought extinguished. The breakout was chaotic, a maelstrom of combat as Krell guards attempted to quell the uprising. Marcus's strategies, honed through simulations, played out in the corridors of the prison. Each cell freed not just a prisoner, but a potential warrior in the fight against the Krell. With the prisoners aboard, the escape was no less harrowing. The Krell, realizing the scale of the breakout, dispatched warships to intercept. It was a desperate race to the jump point, where the fabric of space could be bent back towards safety. The ship's weapons, operated by Lena and Maya, provided cover, warding off the pursuing forces with precision and ferocity. As they made the jump to hyperspace, the tension broke, replaced by an exhilarating sense of accomplishment. They had faced the oppressor's might and emerged victorious. But this was only the beginning. The mission had changed them, forging them not just into a crew, but a family, bound by a common cause. They had brought hope to those who had none, lighting a beacon that would rally the oppressed across the galaxy. The battle for freedom had begun, and Earth's children were at the heart of it. With the successful prison break reverberating across the galaxy, the team's actions became a legend whispered among the oppressed and a nightmare recounted in the halls of the Krell Empire. The liberated prisoners, leaders, and fighters in their own right spread the word of Earth's intervention, igniting sparks of rebellion on a dozen worlds. The crew, once merely emissaries and warriors from a distant world, now stood as symbols of a galactic resistance. The ship became a hub for strategy and planning. Dr. Lena Morales' lab turned into a meeting place for Arun strategists and human tacticians, poring over star maps and intelligence reports. They plotted a series of strikes designed not just to free more prisoners, but to disrupt the Krell's supply chains and communication networks. Each mission brought new challenges and new allies. Worlds that had long ago bent the knee to the Krell found new courage to resist. The team facilitated alliances, sharing technology and strategies, teaching guerrilla tactics, and conducting hit-and-run attacks on key installations. Sergeant Marcus Reed found himself leading ground assaults, his calm under fire inspiring those around him. Pilot Maya Jensen's daring maneuvers became the stuff of legend, delivering hope and striking fear in equal measure. Amidst the burgeoning rebellion, Commander Adrian Pierce faced his own challenges. The weight of leadership pressed heavily upon him, each decision bearing the potential for victory or disaster. His resolve was tested, not just by the external enemy, but by the internal struggle of guiding his team through the uncertainty of war. Yet, in his darkest moments, The unity and determination of his crew, their unshakable belief in the cause, provided the strength to press on. The turning point came with the liberation of the Arun homeworld. It was a battle of epic proportions, the skies alight with the blaze of starships, and the ground shaking under the march of both liberators and the oppressed. The Krell's grip on the planet was strong, but the spirit of the Arun, bolstered by their human allies, was indomitable. The battle raged for days, a relentless struggle for freedom that culminated in the fall of the Krell's planetary fortress. The victory was bittersweet. The cost was high, with many lives lost, but the liberation of the Arun homeworld served as a beacon across the galaxy. News of the defeat spread, shaking the foundation of the Krell Empire. More worlds rose in rebellion, galvanized by the proof that the Krell could be defeated. As the dust settled, the crew of the Earth Arun vessel stood on the surface of the freed world, looking out at the dawn of a new era. Their mission had transformed from a desperate gamble into a crusade for freedom. They had become the vanguard of a galactic uprising, the hope of countless species yearning for freedom. The tide had turned, but the war for liberation was just beginning. The liberation of the Arun homeworld marked a pivotal moment in the galaxy's history, a testament to the resilience of the oppressed and the courage of those who stand with them. Yet the victory also heralded the storm to come. The Krell, faced with their greatest defeat, mustered their vast forces for a counterstrike designed to crush the burgeoning rebellion once and for all. The target was clear. The Arun homeworld, now a symbol of hope and defiance, would be the stage for this decisive battle. The crew, now seasoned veterans of this interstellar conflict, prepared for the confrontation. Commander Adrian Pierce rallied his team, understanding the gravity of what was to come. They had turned the tide, but now they faced the might of the Krell Empire in its full fury. The ship was refitted and resupplied, its halls echoing with the determination of those ready to defend their hard-won freedom. As the Krell fleet emerged from hyperspace, a shadow fell over the world. A battle of unprecedented scale unfolded. The skies were ablaze with the light of laser fire and the dark silhouettes of warships. On the ground, the inhabitants of the planet, alongside their human allies, mounted a fierce resistance. The team was at the heart of it, leading sorties against the Krell's ground forces, orchestrating aerial battles and safeguarding the civilian populations. Dr. Lena Morales, alongside Arun scientists, devised a series of defenses to shield key locations. Her knowledge of alien ecosystems had been crucial in understanding the planet's unique advantages. Pilot Maya Jensen flew through the chaos, her ship a beacon of hope for the defenders, while Sergeant Marcus Reed led his mixed contingent of human and Arun soldiers, holding the line against impossible odds. In the midst of the turmoil, a dire message reached the crew. The Krell had deployed a weapon capable of devastating the planet, intending to make an example of the rebellion. The team faced a harrowing choice: continue the fight on the ground, or take to the stars in a desperate bid to intercept the weapon. With heavy hearts, they chose the latter, entrusting the ground battle to their allies. The ship, a symbol of the united resistance, soared into the conflict-ridden skies, tracing a path through the battlefield toward the looming threat. The confrontation was fierce. The Krell, recognizing the ship as the heart of the rebellion, focused their efforts on its destruction. In the final moments, as the weapon charged and the fate of the planet hung in the balance, Adrian made a decision. With a heavy heart, he ordered his crew to evacuate, planning to pilot the ship on a collision course with the weapon. It was a sacrifice he was prepared to make, a captain's final duty to his crew and the cause they had all fought for. But his team refused to leave his side. Together, they hatched a daring plan to disable the weapon without the need for sacrifice. Through a combination of ingenuity, bravery, and the unbreakable bonds forged in the fires of rebellion, they succeeded. The weapon was destroyed, and with it, the Krell's last hope of quelling the uprising. As the Krell fleet retreated, a cheer rose up from the planet's surface, echoing through the halls of the ship. The battle had been won, not just by might, but by the indomitable spirit of those who fight for freedom. The Arun homeworld was safe, and the rebellion had turned into a full-scale revolution. In the aftermath, as they repaired their ship and tended to their wounded, the crew took a moment to reflect on their journey. They had ventured into the unknown, faced unimaginable challenges, and emerged not just as heroes, but as a family. The war was not over, but in this moment of victory, they had shown the galaxy that hope could triumph over tyranny. The aftermath of the battle saw the galaxy in a state of cautious optimism. The defeat of the Krell's formidable onslaught on the around homeworld had a ripple effect, energizing resistance movements across countless systems. The Alliance, once a loose coalition of desperate rebels, had solidified into a formidable force, with Earth and the Around at its heart. The crew of the ship, their vessel now adorned with the marks of battle, became icons of the revolution. They traveled from world to world, not as conquerors, but as liberators, spreading the message of unity and resilience. With each freed planet, the Krell's grip on the galaxy loosened, their once impenetrable empire beginning to fracture under the weight of its own tyranny. It was on the newly liberated planet of SciFi, a world that had served as a strategic Krell outpost, that the first Congress of Free Worlds was held. Delegates from across the galaxy gathered, representatives of species that had seen the darkness of subjugation and the light of freedom, thanks to the Alliance's efforts. Commander Adrian Pierce, Dr. Lena Morales, pilot Maya Jensen, and Sergeant Marcus Reed stood among them, not as soldiers, but as architects of peace. The Congress was a testament to what had been achieved and a blueprint for the future. A charter was drafted, not just for mutual defense against the remnants of the Krell forces, but for the sharing of knowledge, resources, and cultures. Earth's own United Nations served as a model, but this new assembly was something entirely unique. A galactic union, born from the fires of rebellion, tempered by the shared desire for peace and prosperity. Amid the diplomatic discussions and celebrations, the crew found themselves reflecting on their journey. They had set out to offer aid, and had ended up changing the course of galactic history. The bonds they had formed with each other, and with those they had fought alongside, were unbreakable, forged in the shared commitment to a cause greater than themselves. As the Congress concluded, with a galaxy united in a way it had never been before, the crew prepared to return home. Earth, which had once seemed the entirety of their world, was now just one part of a much larger community. But it was a community that looked to them for leadership, for inspiration, and for hope. Their ship, once a symbol of a desperate mission to save a few, had become a beacon of a new era, an era where the oppressed knew they were not alone, where tyrants faced justice, and where different species could stand together as equals. The journey back to Earth was a time of reflection, of stories shared and memories revisited. They returned not as the people they had been, but as heroes of a story that would be told for generations, a story of courage, of sacrifice, and of the enduring power of hope. As they entered Earth's atmosphere, the blue of the ocean and the green of the land below a welcoming sight, they knew their mission had ended. But the legacy of their actions, the dawn of a new era of interstellar unity and peace, was just beginning. The galaxy would face challenges, but it would face them together, with Earth and its champions at the forefront of a united front, ready to ensure that the darkness of tyranny would never again overshadow the light of freedom. The heroes' return to Earth was nothing short of triumphant. News of their deeds had spread across the planet, and they were greeted as the architects of a new era for humanity, a time when Earth had extended its hand to the stars and found kinship and purpose. The world that awaited them was transformed, buzzing with the possibilities of interstellar alliance and exploration. In the weeks that followed, the crew was celebrated in every corner of the globe. Parades in their honor filled the streets of cities, and their story was told and retold, inspiring countless others to look up at the stars with new eyes. But beyond the celebrations and accolades, there was work to be done. The alliance that had been forged in the heat of battle needed nurturing to grow and strengthen. Commander Adrian Pierce found himself at the forefront of this new endeavor, working alongside leaders from across the globe and representatives from the Galactic Congress. Together, they laid the groundwork for Earth's role in the interstellar community, ensuring that the planet would be a pillar of the burgeoning Union. Dr. Lena Morales returned to her research, now with a wealth of alien ecosystems to study and new technologies to explore. Her work, once focused on understanding the around, expanded to include the preservation and integration of diverse life forms and environments across the galaxy. She became a leading voice in the movement for ecological preservation on a universal scale, ensuring that the mistakes of Earth's past would not be repeated among the stars. Pilot Maya Jensen took to the skies once more, but her missions were now of a different nature. She flew between worlds, a messenger and liaison for the new alliance, her ship a symbol of Earth's commitment to peace and cooperation. Her journeys took her to the farthest reaches of the galaxy, each trip weaving another thread into the fabric of the interstellar community. Sergeant Marcus Reed dedicated himself to training the next generation of Earth's defenders, incorporating the tactics and strategies learned from the galactic resistance into Earth's military doctrines. Under his tutelage, Earth's forces became known not for their might, but for their role as peacekeepers and protectors, ready to stand in defense of the freedoms they had helped win. As the first anniversary of the Congress approached, the crew gathered once more. They stood together, not as soldiers or scientists, but as pioneers who had ventured into the unknown and returned with a message of hope. A monument was unveiled, a beacon reaching toward the sky, inscribed with the names of those who had fought, of worlds freed, and of the promise of the future. The ceremony was broadcast across the galaxy, a shared moment of reflection and aspiration. The message was clear. From the darkness of oppression and conflict, a new dawn had emerged. The beacon stood not just as a reminder of what had been achieved, but as a symbol of the enduring light of cooperation, unity, and hope. The legacy of their journey, of a small ship and its crew who had dared to face the darkness, would live on. They had shown the galaxy that when faced with despair, only unity could bring hope, only courage could face down fear, and only together could different peoples forge a future of peace. The story of their journey, from the sands of the Mojave to the stars, was now a tale for the ages, a beacon of hope for all the worlds of the galaxy.